Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rogue Medic, and I am the host of the show of the RFU, the Retro Fighter. This show was designated and specifically made and dedicated to a group of streaming people that I know and have something to do with, primarily. However, there will be imagination involved in these shows and whatnot. However, I will continue to go on and speak. I am the host and owner of the RFU universe that I created. I did take a lot of imagination to think of a lot of these scenarios and things that happen. And I do want to say, I am not alone in this matter. Yes, I am the only person who is physically making all this content, doing all this work. However, for these wrestling shows, I am not the only person. To my left is who I call Commandant Silva, aka Silva. That's just the character name for her, Silva. And Silva will be the other GM, general manager for the what's it called? I have a name for these factions. Like the one I'm working for and competing is the Coalition of Cogs. She does the faction of the Defiers of Fate. So basically, you could say red faction or blue faction. It's just like it's kind of going to be like SmackDown versus Raw. If that makes any sense. However, I am going to. Sorry, going to be telling you what this is going to be about now. So what this is all going to be about, this is just for shits and grins. I'm not doing this to make money or content off people. I'm just doing this for fun. Because why shouldn't you? You gotta have a little fun sometimes with all this stuff. By the way, I'm trying to get used to all this camera work and whatnot, so that's kind of why I'm around so much. So, in this case, we're going to do this probably about every week or so, every 1 or 2 weeks, where the matches will be randomized except for the blue team, because the blue team, the perk that they get for being with me is, if they have any match requests, I will do them, and rivalry actions and whatnot, I do those. However, if nothing is brought up, I do the personal work on both sides. There could be a potential third faction, and I will let you know this right now. There is a potential thought for it. However, it is not official yet. But there is going to be quite a bit of storyline things involved. One thing I can tell you all already, one storyline thing this is already involved is actually my general manager character, which is me right there, and Colonel Silva, who's the other general manager, are in story in a relationship. Now, there was a previous relationship with this character, the general manager, me. However, due to the events of a certain My Rise mode, that has changed. And it will forever remain changed because the take I had on that character, yeah, good luck. So for that reasons, plot-wise as well, I decided to use her for another reason. It will be in a further plot that will actually be coming up sometime. Now, I will potentially try, because I will be streaming this on Twitch and YouTube, I will be trying to tinker and mess more with this universe mode stuff. However, it is not entirely easy because I'm still learning all this, and I'm trying to figure out currently how to get the video stuff to work. It's tricky for me to learn, but however, I will learn it in due time. Now, I am looking forward to this. and I'm hoping this will be fun, because Colonel Silva and I will actually be competing against each other at times. We will also be competing in each other's shows. However, to let you know one fair thing as well, outside of this show, Silva and I actually have a tag team championship, an intergender tag team championship. However, for some reason, I cannot use that here. So my original idea of my intergender tag team championship will not work here, because it keeps putting it towards the regular superstars. That'll be another thing. There will not be any regular superstars. There may be interference or something from them, but they will not be in here yet. Maybe. If something happens. Which will be a further down the storyline deal. Now, fairness. Yeah, I'm being 100% total discreet and fair about all this. I will be the commentator as well. However, on the other line, I will be making the matches as well, and I will only be referring to myself as the general manager. Now, when I'm commentating, I will still be Rogue Manager Noah, because General Manager Noah is me, who is his character. GM Noah will be making the matches, which will be me still, and Colonel Silva will be making hers, which I control, of course. On that side, Red Side unfortunately kind of got gypped out of a good deal. They're letting the system do it itself, so. Excuse me. So, now, there could be potential more people coming into the show. At the moment, I'm kind of done up with whoever I could with my male roster and female roster. We have a pretty good number, and I feel like we got a good number of divas and wrestlers. However, knowing each individual person that I know, there are going to be some heels, and there are going to be some, as the WWE Universe calls it, baby faces. Majority of these characters will be an absolute mix and match of heels and baby faces. However, the command Silva and I are technically a mix of both. We are. She has her personality. I have mine. Yeah, I'll put it that way. We do have. I think some of these will be very interesting. I'm doing this just for fun. I am not doing this to make money or anything off of it or any kind of revenue. This is just for shits and grins. I want people to be able to enjoy this thing. I know I won't get as much viewers as I'm hoping for, but I'll still proceed and continue to do with this regardless. So I'm not begging and pleading. This is still going to be done out of normality. Now, if you have any questions in the comments below, please let me know. The other things I will tell you is there will be ways you guys can form tag teams. If I get affiliate on Twitch, the other way you can get tag teams is on Twitch. If you have enough points, you could redeem for a create a tag team, between you and whoever, as long as you two agree to it. However, on YouTube, I don't have this. The one thing I don't like about YouTube and Twitch, like, they're good platforms. Don't get me wrong. The only issues I have with both is Twitch. You have to be affiliate, and people don't like to be bombarded with ads, which I fairly understand. I hate it myself. And unless I do a certain thing to try to control the ad, I have to take breaks here and there during the show for everybody, just so that some people will not get bombarded with ads. And I'm okay with this. However, on YouTube, here's another problem I have, but I have it with Twitch. There's no way to get free channel points without having, Now, I know there's been a program somewhere along the line where people can get channel points, but it's not kind of the same. However, I am going to work on something maybe, and I don't want to make people pay money for anything. For a character, for a tag team to create a match. I don't want to do that because that's wrong. That's not something I'm going to do. So that's never going to happen. This is to let you all know, because that's just wrong. Free content, It's my content essentially, but it's free. It's not going to cost you a dime to watch. That's up to you if you watch. The other half is on YouTube. If you and whoever else agree that are in the same faction, has to be the same faction, agree to be a tag team. I will, and you both say, and you at least tell me the name of the tag team that you want, I will create that tag team off the show. And they will appear on the next show. However, you can also disband it whenever you would like to. But that means if you have a current rivalry, I need to end your rivalry so that I can make you that tag team. Now, the other thing I want to discuss, if I can think of it real quick, is the fact that there may be some breaks in time where I don't really stream this because I don't want to overload people or overboard them with it. So I will try to do this like 2 or 3 times a week. So today, later today, or some point today, there will be a stream that comes up. And it will be me probably doing like the first week of it. This video will come out sometime before or after it, I don't know. However, the RFU will not, during the RFU streams, I will explain a bit of the rules that I have with it. You can, of course, come back and watch them anytime because they will be on both platforms. I know on YouTube I'm going to get nailed for copyright for the music for the wrestlers. However, I am not worried about the music. If I really wanted to be worried about the music, I have a music player here on my Xbox Series S. It just will get annoying to watch me kind of fumble around and switch between tracks every time because, trying to combat it. But I'm glad I'm not making, revenue or anything off of it. So, anywho, any other questions, please let me know. I will try to figure something out with YouTube on how you guys can do all the same things with Twitch. I don't want to make it Twitch primarily. However, Twitch is kind of like, unfortunately, the best way to do these things. YouTube is a great way, just as long as, what I said with the tag team, sticks with people, that's all I ask. However, I will bring up another rule, another thing. General managers cannot be tag teamed with anybody else. I am sorry. This is the one stipulation I'm going to put on these characters. The general managers will only be tag teamed in a match with people if they have to. Or if in a match scenario, the general managers will fight alongside with somebody, but they will not be an official tag team. Because the general managers are literally a tag team themselves. They are called the general management. There will only be 2 GMs, unless there could be a third if something happens, but I won't spoil it. Anywho. So if someone asks me and says, well, why don't you pair this character, this general management character with this one? Storyline, just fair warning, these 2 are a couple. And these 2 do not pair up with anybody else. They will not make an official tag team with anybody else. Now, the teams that have been formed with the general managers in it, that's another story. They are already paired. However, if someone wants to make a new tag team with these 2, that's not happening. These 2 are off limits for tag teams. However, there are the other characters there can be alliances and rivals with each character. On that note, I'm going to finish up some of the work that I need to do, and then I am going live with this show. But I did want to bring this out to you guys at first because, someone mentioned to me, get it out there first before anything. Alright. Took enough of your guys' time. Thank you very much. I will catch you guys later, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.